welcome to the Global Eye. So today we welcome you all to discuss, to interact on a very, very important topic. And it's a life-defining test or just one milestone in learning, and that is exams, specifically the board exams. And at this time when, class 10 and class 12 exams are often seen as a make or break moments, it is very important to discuss on such issues so that we reframe the importance of board exams without fear, without hype, but with perspective. So to help us unpack this, we are joined by a panel of educators, we are thought leaders, mentors, and joining us today is Dr. Abhishek Sharma, Principal Advisor of Edify Group and Educational Strategist, Certified Career and Life Coach and author. Dr. Mittal, School Principal, Cambridge Education Leader, National CBSE Trainer and NITI Aayog Mentor. Dr. Rachana Singh, Life Coach, International Healer and Best-Selling Author. And Deepika Tiwari, Educationist, Psychologist and Author. We are grateful to have such a diverse and experienced panel with us today to help us decode the real meaning of board exams in a student's life. Welcome to the Global Eye. So let's start with a very simple question today, and this would be to everyone. We would start with Dr. Abhishek. Why do board exams in our society get projected as a life or death moment? Do board exams truly measure a student's full potential and intelligence? This is just an introductory question, and I would request everyone to put their insights. Yes, Dr. Abhishek.
Well, that's a wonderful question. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. And I would, definitely say that, in our Indian education system, children are basically judged with the marks only. So, there's lots of pressure, lots of, tension among the children. What will be the board result now going to be? And when we talk about the children, nobody understands the mindset of the children. Everybody expect a lot, and this is what is basically the growing age of the children. I would say that parents expect a lot, and the parents' expectation goes in this way that they boast on to the society, saying that my child has achieved 99%, 100%, 98%. These percentage actually puts a lots and lots of pressure on children, and sometimes it goes negative also. We need to understand the education system. Education is not all about marks. And in this 2.5 to 3 decades of experience, I would say here that I've seen that the children, those who are highest scorers, they are not the actual successful people there in their life. We have seen that the children, those who are mediocres, they are more successful in their life. So we should not be actually putting lots of pressure on children. My recommendation, I suggest to all my school principals, to all my children also, that forget about that. This is not your last examination. This is just a start. And every failure should be counted as, learning. It should not be the last lesson of your life.
We have Dr. Ashish Mittal. He is a principal. He is an educator, mentor. So I think he will be the best person to, after you, to give some insights here. So how do you are a principal now? You have so many students. This year the boards 10 and 11. How do you see this board exams? Do you really see this board exams to judge students' potential, intelligence? How do you see this?
Thank you for having me, Global Eye. As a school leader and a principal, I interact with the students and the parents almost every single day during the board season. And what I have learned over the years is this: exams are important, but the emotional environment around exams is even more important. So Dr. Abhishek has rightly put up. And today, I think that's what we really need to talk about. And as a principal, I have seen two kinds of students during board exams: those who prepare with clarity and those who prepare with fear. So, if I like to put up like that, because your question was related to the life or death moment, in our society, board exams have gradually become symbolic. They are seen not just as assessments, but as gateways to colleges, careers, and social validation. And over the time, that symbolism has turned into pressure. I once interacted with a class 12 student who said, "Sir, अगर boards exam खराब हो गए तो future खत्म." That sentence reflects the narrative children absorb around them. So, but if we look at research, the OECD's global education studies clearly show that long-term success depends far more on adaptability, collaboration, and problem solving than on one-time exam performance. So, board exams are important, yes. They test academic preparedness at a stage, but they are not the destiny. They are one chapter in a long book. It should be taken like that. Honestly, no single exam can measure full potential because the board exams test structured recall, writing speed, comprehension, and application within a time limit. But what about creativity, leadership, empathy, and resilience? So if I talk about and let me just put up one incidence. I have seen students who were not academic toppers but led school initiatives so brilliantly. One of our students who struggled with theoretical exams became an exceptional event organizer and public speaker. Today, that particular child is thriving in corporate communication. So, yes, board exams measure academic performance, but not the entire human capability. So, this is what is my take over that particular question. Thank you. Over to you.
डॉक्टर रचना, आप एक लाइफ कोच है, हीलर है, आप कई स्टूडेंट्स से को काउंसलिंग देती है, नॉट इवन स्टूडेंट्स, इवन पेरेंट्स, इवन एजुकेटर्स। आप कैसे दे आपको क्या लगता है, लाइक व्हेन आज जब हम देखते हैं कि 10th एंड 12th के बच्चे दे आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर देयर बोर्ड एग्जाम्स, sometimes they feel like, oh my god, ये break, I told you, like life and death moment, they are taking as life and death moment। आपको क्या लगता है कि आप कैसे बच्चों को uh, इस वक्त क्या बोलेंगे, like intelligence and potential को absolutely, even the entire society actually, they judge students by the marks, they do not see उनके potential क्या है, intelligence क्या है। यहाँ आप इस पे आप क्या बोलेंगे?
बिल्कुल। थैंक यू सो मच मौसमी जी, सबसे पहले मुझे इनवाइट करने के लिए। और आपने शायद इंट्रोडक्शन में एक चीज़ आप भूल गई हैं, मैं गवर्नमेंट टीचिंग में हूँ 12 सालों से।
एजुकेटर।
तो यस, मेरा बहुत अच्छा अनुभव रहा है। और बहुत अच्छी बात है कि आपने इस टॉपिक पर ये इतनी अच्छी डिस्कशन को स्टार्ट किया है ताकि स्टूडेंट्स को इनसे इंस्पायर वो हो सके। देखिए, बोर्ड परीक्षा जो है वो जीवन की परीक्षा या सीखने का एक पड़ाव है। ये इस पर मैं कुछ बोलना चाहती हूँ। ये एक माइलस्टोन है, बट मंजिल नहीं है। ये सीखने की सीढ़ी है, जीवन की अंतिम परिभाषा नहीं है। बहुत सुंदर टॉपिक पे, और इस पर बहुत सारी बातें हो सकती हैं। बोर्ड परीक्षा महत्वपूर्ण है, लेकिन ये जीवन की अंतिम या सबसे बड़ी परीक्षा नहीं हो सकती है। क्योंकि हमारे भारतीय इस परिवेश में ये सबसे पहला पड़ाव होता है बच्चों का, जब इतने बड़े लेवल पे वो एग्जाम देते हैं और उनके लिए एक भय का माहौल क्रिएट किया जाता है पेरेंट के द्वारा, टीचर्स के द्वारा। मैंने देखा है कि घर में हम भी अपने बच्चों को कहते हैं मेहनत करो, 10th आ गया है, अब तो मेहनत कर लो, अब अच्छे मार्क्स नहीं आएंगे तो अच्छी जगह पर एडमिशन नहीं होगा, आपको आगे रास्ता नहीं मिलेगा। और ये जो प्रेशर है, कई बच्चे हैंडल कर लेते हैं, कई बच्चे नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो सबसे यहाँ पर मैं रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ कि सबसे पहले तो इसको प्रेशर के तरीके से बच्चों पर ना थोपे, वो स्कूल हो या घर का माहौल हो। और हम टीचर्स भी जो हैं वो हमेशा बच्चों को प्रेरित करने का कोशिश करते हैं, बट कहीं ना कहीं वहाँ पे हमसे भी गलतियां होती हैं। हम उन्हें मार्क्स ज़्यादा लाने के लिए बार बार कहते हैं। यहाँ पर हमें भी थोड़ा सा संभलने का ज़रूरत है। और ये एग्ज़ाम बड़ा इसलिए हो जाता है क्योंकि हर जगह बिना 10th के एडमिट कार्ड और रिजल्ट के कहीं भी अगर आप कोई काम करते हैं तो एंट्री नहीं मिलती है। तो हमारे लिए ये सबसे बड़ा यहाँ पर ये एक पर्सपेक्टिव हो जाता है कि इसको लेकर ये एंट्री कार्ड की तरह इसको इस्तेमाल किया जाता है ना। लेकिन यस, बच्चे पढ़ें लेकिन इस पर स्ट्रेस लेकर आगे ना बढ़ें, क्योंकि सचमुच अभी जैसे डॉक्टर आशीष मित्तल जी ने बताया, डॉक्टर अभिषेक शर्मा जी ने बताया कि हमारे लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट है, लेकिन बच्चों को इतना प्रेशर दे के कोई स्टूडेंट है जो बहुत अच्छा नंबर नहीं लाता है लेकिन बहुत अच्छा पब्लिक स्पीकर है ना। मेरे भी दो बच्चे हैं, एक बच्चा मेरा बहुत अच्छा नंबर नहीं ला पाता है, लेकिन वो ठीक डॉक्टर आशीष जी ने जैसे कहा कि बहुत दूसरी फील्ड में बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है। और एक मेरी बेटी है जो बहुत अच्छा नंबर लाती है लेकिन दूसरी फील्ड में वो नहीं अच्छा कर पाती है। तो सबका अपना अपना अपने दिमाग से वो चलते हैं, उनकी अपनी अंदर की जो बहुत सारी क्षमता है ना, वो अगर उस अनुसार चले तो ये एग्जाम बहुत बड़ा एग्जाम है, लेकिन प्रेशर नहीं बनेगा बच्चों पर इसके लिए। थैंक यू सो मच।
अह, दीपिका जी, आप एक साइकोलॉजिस्ट हैं, ऑथर भी हैं। आपकी किताबें बिल्कुल इट इज हीलिंग एक्चुअली। एंड हाउ डू यू सी दिस नाउ व्हेन you must be counseling many students? So how do you see this exams, board exams, and is it correct to judge the students like their potential and intelligence by their marks?
Thank you, Miss Mashmi. Thank you for having me here. And board exams, I mean, it's a social construct. I wonder, as a teacher, as an educator, I wonder how a board exam is different from any other exam, be it a grade 9 exam or grade 11 exam. There's a course which they study, and end of the term, end of the year, end of the session, they get assessed. So, and why do I call it a social construct, board phobia? It's a social construct because, see, घर में भी जब हम, it starts before the child enters grade 10. अरे बच्चा बहुत बड़े हो गए, अरे कौन सी क्लास में आ गए, 9th, चलो अगले साल बोर्ड है. So, every time this water dripping and then this hitting on a child, board exam. I mean, it's just another exam in which you study for like 6 months, 8 months, whatever the term is, and then you get assessed. How would an exam, which is a home exam, different from a board exam? They don't know the questions beforehand, do they? Right? Unless it was the SAG in case of COVID, they don't know the questions beforehand. They just know the syllabus. They have a breakup of syllabus. They have chapter-wise weightage. So why is it such? And I wouldn't say it's not important. Important है. Judge. And one more thing. I mean, my psychologist hat if I wear. So actually, हम लोगों ने अपनी self worth को प्रूव करने के लिए या अपने आप को इम्पोर्टेंस देने के लिए, आई थिंक वी are dependent more on the external factors, external validations. That's something which is making it hype. It is important because ultimately we need to draw a line. Who's where? What, who should be given which role, responsibility based on their learning levels. More than that, how I, as an educator, how the system has been successful in imparting what they were supposed to. So they are important, but the social construct, it's as good as some exams.
Right.
Thank you.
Archana ji ne bola, Archana ji, you have spoken about fear. So here I have a question, Dr. Abhishek. What is more damaging for students, the exam itself or the fear built around it?
I would say डर के आगे जीत है. And actually, I'm taking care of major southern region, and under me almost like 16 to 7 principals are there. And generally, like during examinations, they come back to me and they say, "Sir, we want a session on how to deal with the examophobia." I said, "What is that phobia all about? Did you talk with the children? Did you tell them that this is not your last examination?" And I'll tell you one very important factor. I think everybody agrees here that one examination, 2 hours, 3 hours of paper can really decide your potential. It cannot decide your potential. But yes, as Dr. Ashish also mentioned, that these examinations are important. So and as Miss Deepika also said one thing, that right from the grade 8, grade 9, the children have been pushed with the with the thought that next year you are going to go for the board examinations. So this fear should not be there. And I would say that rather than taking the session with the children, I'm sure that we have to take the session with parents. We need to take the parenting session. We need to talk to the parent. And I tell you that the children, those who score a little less marks also, then also they get into depression. I've seen many examples, not in schools, outside also, these coaching centers, everybody's creating a pressure. And honestly, I'm saying that, when I travel abroad and when I talk about Finland education system, I was there in UK for approx 6.5 years. And I tell you that, board examination, there also, there is a pattern of examination, but there is no examination stress. These examinations are being considered as a testing point, not as the final examination. So I would say here that children should not be made fear for the board examination. They should be taught how to deal with their fear. Everybody talks about board examination. Is there anybody in the whole education system who talks about the child, which is going, under so much of pressure, so much of, stress, and the child, and moreover, as we talk, because, the crux of new education policy is all about empathy and emotions. Nobody talks about that. So I would say here, let's come together as an educator. Let's talk about how to deal your inner emotions rather than dealing with the examinations. I tell you one very simple example. Many a children I have seen, those who have really prepared well, and once it comes to the examination center, they forget everything.
Yes.
They prepare 100% and they land up into actually nothing. And the moment they see the question paper, they actually do not know anything. And by the time they recall, they come out of their fear, the examination time gets over. So it should be dealt with, with the, lots of motivational words, lots of assertions, right? We should be talking to the child that, beta, this is not the examination where it will be deciding your complete potent. Let's come together. It is just one examination, and there are so many examinations which are going to come in your life, right? So take it easy. Whatever you know, what better you can put in there, you definitely should prepare and you should put in there, and make sure, do not worry about the results. Leave everything, and even the Krishna also says, do your work and leave the result to me.
When you spoke about Krishna, like I'll come to Dr. Ashish and Dr. Achana. Yes, Deepika ji. So you speak a lot about, the Gita, Krishna and all. So the next question here is, can the fear of failure of low marks leave a long-term impact on a child's self-confidence? How do we, this, scripture or, religious, or you can say spiritual learning can help a student? Please explain.
Should I
Sure,
answer?
thank you.
Okay, Deepika
Please,
ma'am. Yeah.
please, Mr. Mittal, please, if
This is
you would
for
wish to.
Deepika ji because she's into
Yeah.
spiritual learning also. So I just wanted her to, put some insights. How do you, deal with students when just, Dr. Abhishek said about, Krishna also says this. And yes, fear of failure, low marks, it can, leave a long impact, and a student. How do you see this and how do you counsel a student?
Thank you. It will be little philosophical, spiritual, psychological, a blend of all. So yes, I mean, we talk about everything is temporary. Yes, there is an impact. There is definitely an impact, but I wouldn't call it a long-term impact. Everything is transient. सब कुछ परिवर्तनीय है, सब बदल रहा है. और बड़े से बड़ा ट्रॉमा, माता पिता की मृत्यु, घर में कुछ बुरा हादसा, हर चीज से हम निकल जाते हैं. हाँ, हम इकट्ठा करते करते हमारे चित्त के माध्यम से उसको रिजर्वायर एकत्रित करते हुए जाते हैं, बट निश्चित रूप से ऐसी कोई चीज नहीं है जो हमारे साथ हमेशा रहेगी. चाहे वो एग्जाम का फेलियर हो, चाहे वो कोई वस्तु हो जो हमने करके रख रखी है, जो हमने संचय करके संचित करके रखी है, फिर चाहे वो अच्छा हो या बुरा हो, जाना सबको है. Exam bhi nikal this, I mean, as we call it, I mean, it's difficult for children, 16 17-year-old children, to understand the transitory nature of the verb being, but yes, this too shall pass. So yes, it has an impact. Fear, failure, it has an impact, but trust me, nothing is long lasting or like forever or permanent. It's all transitory.
Dr. Ashish, are we like you are a principal of the school, you must be dealing with so many students and teachers and parents also. Are we teaching students to perform for marks or to genuinely learn and grow? And does the current exam-centric culture discourage creativity, curiosity, and independent thinking?
Thank you for this wonderful question, but I don't know why I am so eager to mention two things, what Dr. Abhishek mentioned and Ms. Deepika also mentioned. डर के आगे जीत है बटाए, sometimes feel डर के आगे दर्द है. And second part, what Ms. Deepika just mentioned, that we can come out of all kind of traumas or fear or whatsoever always. I beg to differ on this point. Sometimes some traumas are, I think, people are unable to overcome. So it usually depends, because if you go through the researches of, or if you go through the kind of depressions few students or few people are suffering from, are irreparable. So this is what I just wanted to mention. However, this was not my question, but this is what I really read in a lot of researches. And we feel with the children as well. Sometimes the traumas stay here in our minds for a really, really long time. And now I come back to my question. This was, are we teaching students to perform for marks or to genuinely learn? So this is an honest reflection, Mosmi, question for all of us. If we focus only on expected questions, answer formats, and scoring patterns, I will repeat. If we focus only on expected questions, answer formats, and scoring patterns, we are preparing the students for performance. But when we encourage inquiry, discussion, application, and reflection, we are nurturing learning. So this is important to note. For an example, let's take a subject in economics. Instead of memorizing inflation definitions, we once asked students to analyze rising prices in their own households. That was a very practical question. The depth of understanding was remarkable. And also, the World Economic Forum ranks critical thinking and problem solving among the top future skills. These cannot be memorized, they must be cultivated. So, this is what we really feel, that we are preparing students for different life scenarios. And I think it is important to come down to their level and prepare them for all kinds of challenges which may come to their ways in the future.
Dr. Archana, you must be, you are teaching since a long time. You have met all kinds of students. लास्ट बेंचर से लेके फर्स्ट बेंचर, आपने अपने बच्चों का भी यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल दिया है. और आप प्राइवेट काउंसलिंग भी करती है, लेकिन यहाँ पे कभी ना कभी आपको ये फील हुआ, हाउ मच प्रेशर डू पेरेंटल एक्सपेक्टेशंस ऐड टू स्टूडेंट्स ड्यूरिंग बोर्ड एग्जाम? जैसे आपने कहा, अरे बोर्ड आ गया, अब तो पढ़ ले.
हाँ, ये बहुत अच्छा टॉपिक है और मैं इस पे अच्छे तरीके से इसलिए बोलना चाहती हूँ क्योंकि मैं एक एनएलपी ट्रेनर भी हूँ. न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोग्रामिंग मैं लोगों का क्या करती हूँ, फोबिया क्योर करके हमारा एक टेक्निक है. और मैम, आपको बहुत जान के आश्चर्य होगा कि जब हम फोबिया क्योर करने जाते हैं किसी भी बच्चे का, तो उसके अंदर जो सबसे पहला फोबिया बैठा होता है, जो डर बैठा होता है, वो बचपन का और माता पिता का दिया हुआ डर होता है. और वो बच्चा जो डरा सहमा रहता है, वो आगे चल के भी, जैसे डॉक्टर अभिषेक ने बोला कि बहुत सारे बच्चे एग्जाम में जाते हैं और भूल जाते हैं, या इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं जवाब नहीं दे पाते हैं, तो आपको ये जान के आश्चर्य होगा कि ये वही बच्चे होते हैं जो बहुत ज्यादा डरे सहमे रहते हैं, और डर की वजह से, फियर की वजह से उनके अंदर का कॉन्फिडेंस हिल जाता है. वो खुद पे ना कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं ला पाते हैं, अपने सेल्फ वर्थ को नहीं समझ पाते हैं, उनकी सेल्फ एस्टीम लो हो जाती है. तो ये जो डर है, शायद ये, मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि 100% बोर्ड एग्जाम से आ रहा है, बट यस, फर्स्ट जो फेयर है वो हमारा बोर्ड एग्जाम होता है. तो इसको मतलब हम सब जो गार्जियन है, वो टीचर हो सकते हैं, घर के पेरेंट हो सकते हैं, तो यहाँ पे हम उसको एक पड़ाव की तरह समझाने का प्रयास करें कि ये तैयारी करने के लिए आप यहाँ पर बैठे हैं, आपकी तैयारी की परख होती है। आप टाइम मैनेजमेंट कैसे सीख सकते हैं बोर्ड एग्जाम के प्रिपरेशन के थ्रू, आप प्रेशर में परफॉर्मेंस कैसे दे सकते हैं, है ना। तो डिसिप्लिन को कैसे मेंटेन कर सकते हैं, इस मुद्दे को उठाना होगा, न कि आप कितना अच्छा नंबर ला सकते हैं। तो ये जो फियर और फोबिया है सचमुच बहुत खतरनाक डेंजरस तरीके से बैठ जाता है बच्चों के दिमाग में। और मैंने देखा है, मतलब एक बच्चा था, पवन नाम का स्टूडेंट है, 4 सालों से वो प्रिपरेशन कर रहा था, बहुत 99% मार्क्स आए थे, और उसका नीट एग्जाम नहीं क्लियर हुआ। 99% वाले बच्चे का नीट एग्जाम नहीं क्लियर हुआ। आपको समझ में आ रहा है क्यों नहीं हुआ होगा? क्योंकि उसने बोर्ड एग्जाम तो रट्टा मार के कुछ भी करके बहुत अच्छा नंबर वो ला पाया, लेकिन उसके अंदर जो फियर था ना, जो फोबिया है, वो उसको आगे नहीं बढ़ने दे रहा है। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे केसेस हैं। लेकिन हमें बेसिक तरीके से काम करने की ज़रूरत है, स्कूल में भी क्लास 6 स्टैंडर्ड से ही इस इन सारी चीज़ों पर सिखाने की ज़रूरत है कि इसको बस एक पड़ाव समझो, इसको आखिरी परीक्षा ना समझो। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, ma'am. Dr. Abhishek, you are also a life coach. So, do you also see, or do you ever hear this? We keep on hearing that the constant comparison with toppers, relatives, children, and peers. How do you think, this can harm a child's mental health?
So I would, when I interact with children, because most of my interaction happens with the principals, teachers, coordinators, but I take out some time to interact with the children also. I generally travel during this time where before examination, I try to meet all the children. And I always start with one thing. बच्चों को मैं हमेशा बताता हूं, आप मेरे बारे में क्या सोचते हो ये भी मैं ही सोचूंगा, तो आप क्या सोचोगे? सो फॉरगेट अबाउट व्हाट द वर्ल्ड थिंक्स अबाउट योर सेल्फ. Think of yourself. It is your life. Nobody is going to dictate your life. It is your life. You need to think, you need to decide, and make sure at the end, the moment when you reach to almost a settling age, maybe I'm talking about 30, 32, 35, you should not be having the regret that I studied because my parent pressurized. And sometimes we land up into, I've seen lots of teachers entering into education, and they're saying, sir, actually my parents expected me to be engineer, but I wanted to be a teacher. And this is what is the problem with the students. So I always give the example. I always say, अभी recent में मैंने सोनू शर्मा का एक सेशन अटेंड किया था. I generally keep on attending this session. He said that I was an outstanding student. Outstanding is not in the literal meaning. He was always standing out.
Okay.
But
Okay.
now the whole world knows him. So it's your life. You take the decision. It's your, academics. And I tell you, education marks is only just scoring. It cannot decide who you, become in your life. So when I interact with children, I always say, forget about who brings what marks, right? Are you confident? Are you satisfied with your marks? Are you satisfied what you have learned? And if you are focused, if you are visionary, because right from the very beginning, we always say to the children, beta, see, in case if you want to achieve this, you need to be doing this. And if we make these things clear, I'm sure the children do not worry about the marks. And I've seen many a children, not one, many a children I have seen, those who are successful, highly successful. One of my student whom I mentored when I was the principal, he's in Bangalore, and he's, making, bottled water. And this water is not coming from any source. He's collecting the vapors from the environment, and he's condensing it and converting to the water. So, and he was always like, in 40s and 50s. He never ever, went up on to 70s, 80s, 90s, never. And he came to me once and he said, sir, actually my marks are very less. Do you really think that I will be able to do anything in my life? And I said, beta, don't worry. If you have got trust on you, forget about who says what, because वो चार लोग क्या कहेंगे, अगर हमने अपनी लाइफ इसमें स्पेंड कर दी, तो वो चार लोग जो कहेंगे उनको कहते रहने दो. आप देखो कि आप अपने बारे में क्या सोचते हो और आपका कॉन्फिडेंस क्या है अपने बारे में. आई थिंक दिस क्रिएट्स अ ह्यूज इम्पैक्ट, बिकॉज thousands of examples we give. He's scorer, he's IAS, he's PCS, he has done this thing, he has done that thing. But I tell you, if you see most of the innovators, they are never in 90s, because after completing their 90% onward marks, they always look for the job. And the people, those who are really knowing themselves, they are the job creators in the whole world. You see any example anywhere across the globe.
Right, very true. Dr. Ashish Mittal, you are a national CBSE trainer, apart from being a principal. So, does the current exam-centric culture discourage creativity, curiosity, and independent thinking? Have you ever felt this with the current, pattern of, culture, the study, the education system, and the exam-centric culture that we are having in India? Have you ever felt that?
It can, if balance is missing. So I will give you my crisp answer on this. When children feel that only correct answers matter, they stop experimenting. So creativity requires psychological safety. And let the child experiment sometimes. A system that rewards exploration alongside accuracy builds confident thinkers. What is actually or hugely lagging behind in most of the schools. We do not want our children to experiment for a lot of things, to make them mistakes, and a system that rewards only precision builds cautious learners. So definitely I will say that it can, but if balance of it is missing.
डॉक्टर अर्चना, आपको कैसे क्या लगता है कि ये कभी कभी बच्चे, जैसे बहुत सारे बच्चे, जैसे स्कोर, अगर इफ दे स्कोर लो, द स्कोरिंग लो इन बोर्ड एग्जाम्स रियली लिमिट अ स्टूडेंट्स फ्यूचर? अभी हमने बातें वी हैव डिस्कस्ड दैट that will not limit a student's future, but are we preparing children to handle failure as a part of the learning journey? ये तो हमें पता है कि बहुत सारे बच्चे कम नंबर, they have scored a less but they are doing great, but are we preparing, क्या हम बच्चों को तैयार कर पा रहे हैं फेलियर को एज अ लर्निंग जर्नी की तरह लेने के लिए?
नहीं, अभी तक तो शायद हम नहीं तैयार कर पाए हैं। जैसे बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल हैं, हम सबने अभी डिस्कस किया, सचिन तेंदुलकर हैं, धीरू भाई अंबानी हैं, बिल गेट्स हैं, स्टीव जॉब्स हैं। इन्होंने मैं क्लास 10th भी शायद न नहीं किया है। ये सब ऐसे सक्सेस देने वाले पूरी दुनिया में, जैसे अभी डॉक्टर अभिषेक ने बोला कि ये नौकरियां देने वाले लोग हैं, जो कि मेट्रिकुलेशन को भी जिन्होंने पूरा नहीं किया है। और हमने एक क्लर्क बनाने की प्रैक्टिस अपने बच्चों को दे रखी है। क्लर्क बनाने की प्रैक्टिस का मतलब खूब अच्छा लिखो, खूब तैयारी करके लिखो, एकदम बढ़िया से लिखो। हमने बस उसको क्लर्क बनाने की प्रैक्टिस दी है। हम उसे ये नहीं तैयार कर रहे हैं कि अगर वो अपनी पर्सनालिटी को मतलब डेवलप करेगा, उसका विकास करेगा, तो वो कुछ भी कर सकता है। मार्क्स सिर्फ उसके लिए एक क्राइटेरिया है, उसके पूरे जीवन का वो निर्णय सिर्फ उस मार्क्स पे नहीं है। तो अगर हम अपने बच्चों को ये सिखाना शुरू करें कि वो क्लर्क बनने की तैयारी ना करें, वो नौकरी देने वाले बनने की तैयारी करें, उसकी पूरी अभिव्यक्ति, उसकी पूरी पर्सनालिटी पर अगर हम काम करते हैं, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो कम मार्क्स भी आता है तो चलेगा। अभी मैंने अपने डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक न्यूज़ पढ़ा कि डीएम सर जो थे, उन्होंने सुसाइड कर लिया। अभी तुरंत की ज्वाइनिंग थी। मतलब लाल बत्ती वाली गाड़ी पाने के लिए लोग जान देते हैं, कितनी मेहनत करते हैं सालों साल, लेकिन लाल बत्ती गाड़ी जब मिली है तो उसको हम हैंडल नहीं कर सके, उस प्रेशर को हैंडल नहीं कर सके, और हम दुनिया से खुद अपनी हमने जान ले ली, जाने की तैयारी कर ली और चले गए दो लगातार। मतलब ये बहुत आपने शायद न्यूज़ सुना होगा ये इस तरह। तो ये ब्रिलियंट होने का, ये एक्सीलेंस पाने का क्या मतलब है कि जब आप जीवन में ही कुछ अच्छा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, है ना? तो हमें इस तरह से बच्चों को सिखाने की जरूरत है कि वो अपनी पूरी अभिव्यक्ति, पूरी पर्सनालिटी पर काम करें, ना कि सिर्फ मार्क्स पर। ये बहुत दुखद है, लेकिन मौसमी जी सचमुच आज भी हम बच्चों को मार्क्स के बेस पर ही उनको जज करते हैं, बट ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए।
इसी के ऊपर वी आर जस्ट एक्सटेंडिंग दिस, दीपिका जी, आप व्हेन वी सी द सोसाइटी टुडे, do we still equate marks with intelligence and self-worth in our society? Because ultimately क्या है, parents हो या school हो, I don't know, there is some kind of competition, right? society को क्या बोलेंगे, some, आपको लग रहा है कि अभी भी we may be discussing a lot. We may be interacting a lot that marks are not important. Career is important. Intelligence is important. Innovation is important. But still, do we still equate marks with intelligence and self-worth in our society when we come to society? चाहे हम कुछ भी आज discuss कर लें, but when we come to society, how do you see this?
Yeah, sure. So we can't really do away with marks, and marks being one parameter, a very important parameter rather, for determining how good you are. यहाँ एजुकेशनिस्ट बैठे हैं, डॉक्टर शर्मा, डॉक्टर मित्तल, डॉक्टर अर्चना. एक्चुअली हम बात करते हैं बोर्ड एग्जाम्स के रिजल्ट्स की. वी कांट रियली डू अवे विद दिस. एज अ साइकोलॉजिस्ट, इफ आई वुड पुट दिस ऑल टुगेदर, किन परिस्थितियों में हमें आवश्यकता होती है बाहर से वैलिडेशन और सेल्फ वर्थ की. टॉकिंग अबाउट पेरेंट्स, यस, कुछ तो है जो खालीपन है जिसे भरने के लिए मार्क्स फिट कर देंगे. कहीं तो कुछ ऐसा है जो जिससे यू प्रोबेबली डोंट इवन नो दैट देयर इज सम कॉम्प्लेक्स, सम इन्फ्योरिटी, सम स्ट्रगल विथ माई सेल्फ आई एम फाइटिंग एवरी डे. Especially it happens with mothers who give up their careers and then are अपनी पूरा जीवन घर परिवार बच्चों में लगा दिया. तो वो अपनी वर्थ कहाँ से पूरी करेंगे? अपने जो गैप्स हैं उस गैप को वो प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक विथ many families this happen. तो आइडिया मेरे हिसाब से ये है कि वो गैप्स को फाइंड आउट करें कि किससे हम खुद अपने आप में पूर्णता का अनुभव करेंगे. जब हम स्वयं में पूर्णता का अनुभव करेंगे तो हम बाहर छोटी चीजों को पाकर उस गैप को भरने की कोशिश में शायद नहीं रहेंगे. बट ये तो नेशन वाइड नैरेटिव है. हम चाहे आज कुछ भी बोल लें, कल जब मैं अपनी क्लास में जाऊंगी, बेटा तुमने 3 पेपर करे थे, टाइम करके किए, चलो लाओ दिखाओ, मार्क्स स्कीम के साथ चेक करते हैं. राइट. आवश्यकता यही है कि हम देखें कि क्या है जो हमें पूर्ण बनाता है, and which is not external, it has to be internal, because it is internal.
Dr. Abhishek, you're an educational strategist. So I just want to put forth this this question. In the current board exam system aligned with real world skills and future job requirements, is this the current board systems? Are they aligned with the real world skills and future job requirements? What do you see? How do you see this when we study the board systems today?
Right. I've been the part of CBSE and NIPA, also because earlier, my mentor, who is no more in this world, is Mr. O.P. Chaudhary. He was the director there in CBSE earlier. And I contributed a little to, CCE also, that is continuous and comprehensive evaluation. And little, I contributed to IKS, which is the recent system. I would definitely say one thing, just connecting a little, dots from what we were discussing as of now. We are talking about board examination, but actually for the child, the board examination starts from nursery only. Right. Everybody looks for the grade, they praise, they tell that, only examinations and the grades are the only criteria for the praising. Otherwise, there is no praise for any other thing. Nobody looks for the actual potential. And if I talk about, to the question that you have asked, I would say that, new education policy was definitely needed in the education because, we were following the Lord Macaulay's education system, which was actually not to create the thinkers, innovators. When we talk about our Edify system, we have got our in-house curriculum, that is 3C curriculum. And the crux is, we have divided the education into character, competence, and content. So, I'll not go into deep of it, but I will definitely say that, these 3 things, we have, we are now seeing in our, examination pattern. A little change in the examination pattern was really wonderful by the Ministry of Education and CBSE. Lots of thinkers are coming together. They are forming, different, thought process. And I'm sure that in the coming years, because we are also struggling. There is another book on Indian knowledge system which is coming, where we are not only focusing only on examinations. We want the people, because India, Bharat was always a Vishwa Guru, and we wanted again this Vishwa Guru to come back to education system a little. I'll take our talks to a different dimension. I would say I have been to various education system. It's ICSC, Cambridge. We have got our 3C curriculum designed on IB ideology. And I'm into Vedic education. We have submitted some proposal to Ministry of Education also. So I would say that when I see all these education, Finland education system, then there is another Canadian education system which has come into, and I would see that when we see our Indian education system as a whole, I could see that these are only a few extracts which have been polished and packaged in a new name and sent back to our Indian education system. We have got a wonderful education system, but nowadays only one challenge is there: we are not finding the real educators. So real educators, we need to find, we need to bring them together. And I'm sure in the coming years, examination system should not be the only criteria. I think in our Gurukul system also, we were not having the own examination as a judging criteria. And these systems are, I'm sure it is going to come back very soon. We all are trying our best what we can do. And I'll tell you, I'm sitting here as an educationist. Actually, I came from a IT industry. 30 years back, I joined education sector not by chance. I joined by choice. I left my that fancy IT job, and I came to education sector, and everybody said you have spoiled your life. And I said no, I have actually chased my passion. So I would say that competency based education, lots of concepts are coming. Competency based education is there, then project based learning, lots of concepts are there. And these concepts are actually creating good children. But one thing which I find is missing is the empathy and emotions, which nowadays the children don't have. So in case we integrate this, we have seen, so many examples where the parents, they do lots of things. One parent, I just wanted to mention one example. A parent came to me and said, "Sir, I wanted to talk to you." I said, "Please." So he said, "Sir, I told my child that I have sacrificed my life, for you. I did not install AC in my room, but I installed AC in your room. I, spent most of my money on your education and to bring everything, whatever you felt like." And the reply of the child was, "So what should I do then? It's your problem." Now, that is what actually something which is required in our education system. It's not. So I told father, you should have told your children that what is actual real life. And when we say about education, it's not only about bookish knowledge, it's all about how you deal in your life. So nowadays, I think we are still in better position as compared to earlier education system.
And Dr. Ashish Mittal, you are also a NITI Aayog mentor, apart from being the principal of school. And so, do you think should assessment move beyond one time high stakes exams to more continuous and holistic evaluation? And how can education boards, reduce the pressure without compromising academic standards?
Could you please repeat your question?
Should assessment move beyond one time high stakes exams to more continuous and holistic evaluation?
I think CBSE has already taken this initiative or that particular big step into the same direction what I think you just asked me, because recently CBSE has initiated two board examinations pattern what everybody was anticipating at the beginning when the circular was released much before that the examinations will be conducted by CBSE two times in a year. That means maybe semester wise, something like that, maybe term one and term two. But it is not the case. When the circular was released, it is two attempt of the board examination. So two attempt, when I say, it has different definitions. So maybe if the child has not been able to appear on the first attempt, maybe in one exam or two odd exams, so the child has a chance of appearing in those examinations second time. And likewise, if the child wants to improve the performance, or if the child has flunked in particular subject or two subjects, something like that. So there are different clauses. But let me tell you one insight behind this, because I know what CBSE is doing or endeavoring for. CBSE is constantly trying to match the pace or match the essence of the international education system as well. And because my school is fortunate to have two affiliations, one with CBSE, second with Cambridge. And in Cambridge board examination, in Cambridge pattern or Cambridge affiliation, this pattern is already there, I think, since long, where the child has an opportunity or choice to appear. Maybe there are different series. Let's take an example that the child can appear either in the March series or in June series for any particular set of subjects. This choice is completely given to the children. So these kinds of things are already there in the affiliations, and I must congratulate CBSE also to step forward for all these things. And I am sure in the coming times, this particular pattern, however, we always know that there is always a challenge just because of the population in India. But I think some good things should start from scratch. So this is, I think, this is one thing which I consider that this is a scratch point. You might see some failures, you might see some successes as well from the side of the CBSE, and people will discourage also CBSE, I am very sure, after these two exams. But this is something big step in terms of curtailing down that particular pressure or the burden or something like that on the children, because of considering lots of researches what are mentioning clearly that students are actually under a lot of pressure. Because pressure is not just from the side of the parents, it is a peer pressure, it is a relatives pressure, it is a pressure. कोई मेरे चाचा आ गए घर पे, उन्होंने कहा कि आर्ट्स है तुम्हारे पास, ओ तुम्हारे को पढ़ना पढ़ना नहीं आता क्या. So conventional mindset will in India to actually change, because you can just change yourself. But being an educator, we have the opportunity to change the world. And that is what we always see, that we can be the change maker. And that is what we are preaching our students, or trying to encourage them to become the change maker, so that we can spread the words faster than any other fraternity or industry or sector you call it. So I think this is already taken off, and I am sure this will be there in other grades or other stages as well. And the assessments are, if I talk about the internal assessments, formative and summative, I think NEP and NCF is already talking about in detail about how to assess children, whether it is a assessment for learning or assessment of learning, basically. So I think the world, specifically our country, is now moving for assessment for learning instead of just assessment of learning. So this is what I think a big step by CBSE. Though I know the challenges would be there, but डर के आगे जीत है सर.
So true. Uh, Dr. Archana, do we actually like आप बहुत counseling देते हो क्या? You are a coach, you are a healer, but what warning signs should parents and teachers watch for in students under exam stress? क्योंकि कई बार है, अभी बहुत सारे बच्चे स्ट्रेस में हैं. I just met a parent, few days back. वो कहीं जा नहीं रही थी, तो I just said कि क्या बात है आप? नहीं, मेरी बेटी बहुत स्ट्रेस में है, बोर्ड्स के एग्जाम है, रो देती है, अचानक रो देती है, रूम से बाहर नहीं निकलती है. There must be some warning signs. So what are those warning signs so that parents, teachers, they can understand that the child is in stress?
यस. सबसे पहले तो उनका स्लीप डिस्टरबेंस हो जाता है. अगर आपका बच्चा अच्छे से सो नहीं रहा है, अगर वो 7-8 घंटे की नींद नहीं ले रहा है, तो वो प्रेशर में है. तो ये स्लीप डिस्टरबेंस होता है. उसके बाद उसकी एपेटाइट, उसकी भूख कम हो जाती है, बच्चा खाना नहीं चाहता है. ये एक वार्निंग है यहाँ पे. उनको हेडेक होता है, आई मीन सिर दर्द. वो आपको बार बार आके कहेंगे सिर में दर्द हो रहा है, ये टॉपिक बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, और ये इस टॉपिक में मैं फंसा हूँ, इस तरह की बातें करते हैं. सबसे जो लास्ट है वो है नेगेटिव सेल्फ टॉक। आपको अपने बच्चों पर ध्यान देने की जरूरत है कि कहीं बच्चा खुद में ही नेगेटिव सेल्फ टॉक तो नहीं कर रहा है कि पता नहीं मैं कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं, ये हो पाएगा कि नहीं, साइंस में नंबर कम आ जाएंगे तो आगे मैं क्या करूंगा। ये जो नेगेटिव सेल्फ टॉक उनका चलता है, ये बहुत सारा जो चीज है जो पेरेंट को समझने की जरूरत है कि अगर बच्चा आपको अच्छे से सो नहीं रहा है, अच्छे से खा नहीं रहा है और उसके हेल्थ पर भी इसका असर पड़ता है, तो वो नंबर हो सकता है अच्छा लाए, लेकिन बाद में वो इन चीजों को लॉन्ग टर्म वो खींच के नहीं नहीं ले जा पाएगा। तो इसको अभी से थोड़ा सा देखने की जरूरत है, केयर करने की जरूरत है, बच्चों से बात करने की जरूरत है कि चलो कोई बात नहीं है, अगर ये टॉपिक नहीं तुमसे जच रहा है, ये सब्जेक्ट डिफिकल्ट है, इस पे नहीं भी अगर अच्छा होगा तो भी हम आगे कुछ कर लेंगे। तो बच्चों को ना कॉन्फिडेंस में लेने की जरूरत है, उन्हें प्यार से, एम्पैथी से, जैसे डॉक्टर अभिषेक ने बोला कि उनको सहानुभूति से समझाने की जरूरत है कि इसको इस तरीके से लेना है कि ये तुम्हारा फाइनल रिजल्ट नहीं है, ये तुम्हारे लाइफ का लास्ट वैसा कुछ नहीं है जो तुम्हारे पूरे जीवन को ही बदलने वाला है। ये एक माध्यम है, पहला दौर है। तो इसको अच्छी तरीके से बहुत प्यार से वहां पे समझाने की जरूरत है और बच्चों के साथ लगने की जरूरत है।
And Deepika ji, how can families create a supportive environment during board exam season? क्योंकि हर जैसे कि बच्चा टेंशन में है, हर पेरेंट भी टेंशन में है. So like how should a family create that supportive system uh, like at home?
श्योर। सो एज यू सेड, बच्चा टेंशन में है तो पेरेंट्स भी टेंशन में है। इट्स एक्चुअली उल्टा भी है कि पेरेंट्स टेंशन में है, बच्चा इसलिए टेंशन में है। सो देयर इज समथिंग लाइक व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट चेंजिंग एटीट्यूड, too much information and too little information, both are dangerous, right? So it has to be just optimum amount. So for caregivers also, लाइक पेरेंटिंग में बहुत कॉमन बात है, बहुत कस के पकड़ना भी नहीं और बिल्कुल छोड़ देना भी नहीं। सो आप एज ए पेरेंट जब पूरे टाइम लगे रहते हैं, पेरेंट्स ओवर प्रोटेक्टिव पेरेंट्स, ओवर डिमांडिंग पेरेंट्स, दैट्स आल्सो अ डिफिकल्टी फॉर चाइल्ड, एंड देन कांस्टेंट प्रेशर ऑन द चाइल्ड। एंड देयर आर पेरेंट्स not available, who don't care, who have their own lives, and children are not attended well. So both are problems. Overprotective, over avoiding, just be there normally, naturally, more organically. उससे पहले भी कुछ नहीं बदला था, बाद में भी नहीं बदलेगा। जीवन के हर पड़ाव में माता पिता की, परिवार की आवश्यकता बालक को हर वक्त रहेगी। तो बोर्ड एग्जाम आते ही आई सी mothers are more into pressure, so it shouldn't happen. एंड बिल्कुल भी फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता भाई, पार्टीज किए जा रहे हैं पेरेंट्स, दैट्स आल्सो अ प्रॉब्लम। सो अ बैलेंस्ड अप्रोच, not too much, not too little, is what I think.
Dr. Abhishek, what role should schools play in addressing exam-related anxiety and burnout? Ghar, it's okay. Parents are tensed. Children are tensed. Sometimes, parents are confused. Uh, so, what role should schools play? How do you think the school should address exam-related anxiety and the burnout? Do really
So,
play such roles?
yeah, that's a wonderful question, actually, and that is the technical question where I'll be very happy to answer this question. Basically, what happens? No, in our education system, it's all about pedagogical approaches, pedagogy. We always talk about everywhere pedagogy, but when you see the literal meaning of pedagogy is something where I am telling you something and you should see it and you should make sure that you learn it. So now in our education system here, what we follow, and I advise to my principals and the coordinators and the teachers, especially the board teachers, right? From pedagogical approaches, you need to make sure the children should move to andragogy and heterogogy. So these are three approaches. Now this is basically I am telling, let's work together, and you do it. I am all there with you wherever you need me. That is what is heterogogy all about. When we talk about Actually, the problem is, I'll tell you with one example. A parent came to me and said that my child is not able to understand anything. Teacher said this. I called the teacher. I asked the teacher, what is the problem? Why the child is not learning? Where is the issue? No, sir, actually, no, I mean, he's not able to understand. But what is the issue? Now, here actually the question starts, right? So, in our pedagogical, in our heterogogical approaches, what we do, we use the KWHL chart. KWHL chart is one of the very important chart that we use. What we know, what you want to know, how you will know, and what you have learned. You split your knowledge into KWHL chart, and this will give you a measurable quantity that what is your knowledge level of your topic, how much you know about it. And then after we extend this KWHL chart into KWHL AQ chart, that for example, you have analyzed what you know, you put it in one bracket, what you want to know, you put it in another bracket, how will you learn, what will be the source of knowledge that you will be taking. So, and then what you have learned after learning, action you need to take. That means you need to frame your own answers. And we ask the children, nowadays CBSE has also started accepting our own answers. So we ask the children to frame your own answers, and then you reflect on these answers, that this is what is my answer, my understanding. So rather than having a rote learning system, although we are doing away with the rote learning system, but I always say, as Mr. Ashish also mentioned, that rote learning cannot be done away. Sometimes it is also required. But I would say that in case if the knowledge can be measurable, because generally the question comes how. So if the knowledge can be put into something measurable, we can at least divide our knowledge, what we know and what we want to know. And accordingly, if we guide the child, I'm sure the child will automatically understand and will frame a chart what the child has to learn. Another very important part, that after this thing, as Dr. Archana was mentioning, that and as Miss Deepika was also mentioning, children, they do not sometimes require support. Also, sometimes they fake it. They simply, oh, we know, we have we have prepared everything, right? In that time, sometimes children, and especially at this age, children lie also. They lie a lot. They're 100% liars, right? I mean, this is not a exaggeration, but this is true. They are 100% liars. Now, parents are the one, those who are the connected parents, they'll immediately understand whether they are faking or whether they are genuine. So, parents have to extend the support, saying, Beta, whatever is there, forget about, I am all there with you. Wherever you need me, you tell me. Wherever, whatever, anything that you need me, anywhere you need me, I'm all there. I mean, the same situation is there what we were discussing. I mean, from our staff, 3 of my staff members have taken 15 days leave for the examinations. They wanted to be along with the children, right? Are they creating a stress? Did it, has it come from the children? Or is it affection that has, compelled them to apply for? Big question, very, very big question. And the answer cannot be, simple, because understanding humans is one of the most difficult tasks in the whole world. As of now, we are experimenting, and finally reaching to no conclusion. The moment we reach to some conclusion, there is another experiment which actually defies the earlier experiment.
Right. So rightfully put forth. Dr. Ashish, how can we reframe board exams as a milestone rather than a life-defining verdict? Because really, because now Dr. Abhishek said parents are taking leave, all right, to support their children. The children are appearing for their boards. But because here again we come some kind of pressure, because it is only the marks. People are, parents, teachers, everybody is concerned, because that marks is going to give admissions to the good colleges. The child will get admission to a good college or institution because they would be assessed by their marks. So can we reframe board exams as a milestone rather than a life-defining verdict here? And how, we'll keep it very short. We are running out of time, but these questions are very important today, because Our viewers are parents, our viewers are educators, our viewers are students. So these questions need to be addressed. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I will try to be as crisp as possible because I think we always talk about bridging the gap between the schools and the colleges, but we truly do not talk about bridging the gap between real learning versus just getting the marks. And unfortunately, if you don't talk about the marks at school level or in the board examinations, the entire admission procedure for the universities and the colleges is dependent on your marks or the marks which you get in the competitive examinations, whether it is CUET, whether it is NEET, or whether it is JEE Mains. And what my co-panelists were talking about in the beginning, that even the students who are achieving 95%, 98%, 99% are still struggling to get the admissions in Delhi universities and things like that. So yes, I think bridging the gap between the colleges and schools is not just talking about the curriculum, is about the marks related admissions too. So I think these things are really really important. And if the parents are concerned about their children, I think sometimes I feel it a very genuine thing because of the pressure of our society or community, or eventually the parent knows that my child is not going to overcome that particular stress what this community or the society or the college admission is going to actually put on my child. When my child doesn't get the admission somewhere, or the padosi wala child gets admission in this there and there, so the parents also are in dilemma, huge dilemma, that they do not want to take any chance or kind of this thing, that I should give my time, at least some time if I'm working, at least some time to my children. Maybe not just it is about creating the pressure. Sometimes it is about mentoring my child. It is about supporting my child. Maybe when I am at home, my child may not feel lonely. My child may not go into that depression or into anxieties or something like that. So sometimes I take this particular thing of the parents when they take leaves and all. Sometimes this particular support from the side of the mothers or the fathers is also really really good. If I talk about it as a psychologist, though I'm not the certified psychologist, but I have always feel that every educator is a psychologist.
Indeed. डॉक्टर अर्चना, अगेन द सेम क्वेश्चन, मैं बार बार यही पूछना चाहती हूँ, क्या बोर्ड एग्जाम्स को हम रीफ्रेम कर सकते हैं कहीं ना कहीं? क्योंकि बच्चे अभी रात दिन पढ़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि रोट लर्निंग, एक्चुअली मार्क्स मार्क्स चाहिए, मार्क्स मिलेंगे तभी अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूशन में एडमिशन मिलेगा, नहीं तो नहीं मिलेगा. सो पेरेंट्स, जस्ट डॉक्टर लेटर जस्ट नाउ डॉक्टर आशीष सेड, यस, इट्स पेरेंट्स आर आल्सो इन अ डिलेमा, एवरीबॉडी इज इन अ डिलेमा. अगर नंबर नहीं लाए, बच्चों को एडमिशन नहीं मिलेगा, बच्चों को एडमिशन नहीं मिलेगा, अगेन दे विल बी इन अनदर स्ट्रेस. तो
यस,
यहाँ
हाँ हाँ. सबसे पहले तो मैं थोड़ा सा ये बोलना चाहती हूँ, अगर आपका बच्चा कह रहा है कि मम्मी मुझे कपिल शर्मा बनना है, मुझे स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी करना है, तो बोला है ठीक है, बन जाना, पहले मैट्रिक अच्छे नंबर से पास हो जाओ. तो अगर वो किसी भी चीज के लिए, मतलब मैं ऐसे ही मजाकिया तौर पे कह रही हूँ कि बच्चा अपना व्यू रखता है, अपनी बातों को कहना चाहता है, शेयर करना चाहता है, हम उसे सुनना नहीं चाहते हैं. हम सब सुनना नहीं चाहते हैं. हमने बस वो एक लेबल लगा दिया है कि ये इतना अच्छा नंबर लाएगा, ये ऐसा करेगा, इतना मार्क्स आएगा तो इस कॉलेज, जैसे कि अभी डॉक्टर आशीष ने बोला, डॉक्टर अभिषेक ने बोला. तो इसको बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है, इसको इस बारे में बात करने की बच्चों से, स्पेशली उन्हें ये बताना है कि बोर्ड परीक्षा महत्वपूर्ण है, लेकिन तुम्हारी मानसिक शांति ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है ना. उस प्रेशर की वजह से वो एक अलग ही दुनिया में चला जाता है. मेहनत करो, अपनी तुलना दूसरों से मत करो. कंपैरिजन नहीं करना है हम सबको. टीचर्स को भी नहीं चाहिए कि एक बच्चे का दूसरे से करे, पेरेंट को भी नहीं चाहिए. और उसके अलावा जो है रिजल्ट को प्रेशर, मतलब रिजल्ट का प्रेशर लेके अगर हम काम करते हैं तो वो रिजल्ट जो है वो जो चाहता है वो उसको नहीं मिलता है. तो आपका जो वैल्यू, हमें बच्चों को बताने की जरूरत है कि आपका वैल्यू मार्क्स से नहीं है, आपके व्यक्तित्व और प्रयासों से है ना. तो बिल्कुल इसमें सबको जागरूक करने की ज़रूरत है, पेरेंट को, टीचर्स को, बच्चों को भी, और बच्चों के साथ बहुत मिलने घुलने की ज़रूरत है। अभी लास्ट ईयर मौसमी जी, 1 मिनट मैं लूँगी, मेरी बेटी का एग्ज़ाम था, बोर्ड एग्ज़ाम, वो सीबीएसई टॉपर रही है, और उसको रात रात भर वो पढ़ती थी, तो मैं रात में जब भी उठती थी तो उसको हक करती थी, उसको थोड़ा सा टच करती थी, उसको सुलाने के लिए ज़बरदस्ती ले जाती थी। मुझे महसूस हुआ कि ये जो मेरा तरीका था, शायद मतलब उस वजह से ही वो बहुत आराम से 99% उसने स्कोर किया है, लेकिन प्रेशर नहीं था उसको, बहुत इजी तरीके से। तो हम अगर पेरेंट भी जागरूक होते हैं, टीचर्स भी जागरूक होते हैं, तो बच्चा निश्चित रूप से मानसिक शांति के साथ अच्छा रिजल्ट भी करेगा, और अगर अच्छा मार्क्स नहीं भी आता है तब भी हमें उसके साथ खड़े रहने की जरूरत है।
I'm actually looking for this answer. Maybe Dr. Abhishek would be able to like give me this answer. Can we reframe the pattern? Actually, I'm looking for this answer. जो marks के basis में admission होता है, कभी-कभी there are so many. Dr. Abhishek only said that there are few students who study very hard. They know the concepts very well, but they are not into rote learning. So they would not write the answers in that pattern the way teachers would assess his or her papers. But that doesn't define his potential or intelligence. तो इसमें क्या चेंजेस, कैसे ये रिफ्रेम कर सकते हैं बोर्ड एग्जाम्स के पैटर्न को, या मार्क्स बेसिस में जो एडमिशंस मिल रहे हैं? सो हाउ डू वी find a solution to this?
This is a very big question. It'll take hours and hours together, but then also, I mean, furthermore, hours are required to answer this question. But I'll just connect. Dr. Ashish was saying that children nowadays, they get the marks, and marks are the only deciding factors. We are actually into international boards, and our children are going to the international universities also. And we make sure that in our education system, we prepare their portfolios along with the complete anecdotal records, what the CBSE is also, encouraging. Now, what happens? This is something which is an eye opener, for all the viewers, those who are actually watching this, right? That only fewer universities are there now. They are actually following the same traditional orthodox pattern. Otherwise, most of the universities now, they have started adopting this concept of having the portfolio, and they only do not look for the marks. They see how you have progressed from years together and reached to this stage. They see sports, they see extracurricular activities. And I'll tell you, one of the child got rejected who was the topper in IB board, got rejected in the board, in one of the foreign university. The reason was only one, that he was only and only in academics. He was not into any other thing. So the board now, nowadays the universities, they are also looking for the complete portfolio of the child. They want to see that what addition this child is bringing to our university, and what exactly I mean he's after completing the courses or after completing the studies here, what he's going to bring, take out from our institution. We don't want just zombies to be created in the education system. We don't want followers. We want people, those who are really alive, though they bring something along with. Right. So then coming to the board pattern, I know, I mean, the time is less, but still I'll try to conclude at the earliest. So what I say, basically, education CBSE has already bring in lots of changes, and as Mr. Ashish is also taking care of Cambridge, and he can endorse that Cambridge is also now started lots of bringing lots of changes, lots of innovation, lots of face-to-face training, lots of online training, and they are also started changing their structures. So education is changing. We should all support them, but I'll tell very clearly that it is not a one-day process. It's not a one month process. It's not a 1 year process. Things will change. Things are changing, and change is life. Change is world. The moment we stop, right, we are no more than a dead.
Right, right. Yes, Deepika ji को जाना भी है, but Deepika ji, one message to the students appearing for class 10th and 12th exams, because I know you have another meeting now. So before you leave, one message to the students appearing for class 10th and 12th exams, what would that be?
Yeah, so I'm a teacher myself, and I teach ASA level, CBSE, Cambridge both, and am a Cambridge examiner as well. So many a times they come, मैम आप बोर्ड एग्जाम होगा तो आप इस क्वेश्चन में कितने मार्क्स दोगे? And I talk about it. I definitely, it's my job role to prepare them for what they've come for. But in the end, I always end with जो भी आएगा तुम रहोगे मेरे ही. As someone else also said in this, one of my co-panelists, that uh, चाहे मार्क्स ज्यादा आएंगे या कम, हम वहीं रहेंगे, तुम वहीं रहोगे, ज्यादा कुछ बदलने वाला नहीं है. So we will be there. That's it.
Thank you so much. Dr. Rachana, one message. There are so many, parents watching, would be watching this, educators and children, students specifically appearing for boards. What message would you love to give today?
यस, मेहनत कीजिए और तुलना नहीं कीजिए. जैसे अभी किसी ने कहा कि कर्म कर, फल की चिंता मत कर. तो प्रेशर में आके बहुत ज्यादा अपने आप को टेंशन और स्ट्रेस नहीं क्रिएट करना है. आप अपना काम करिए और मार्क्स आएंगे, कम आएंगे, ज्यादा आएंगे, बहुत अच्छे आएंगे, वो आपके ही होंगे और उससे आपकी दुनिया बदलने वाली बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है. तो अपने आप पर भी ध्यान देना है और बिना स्ट्रेस के एग्जाम की तैयारी करना है.
Dr. Abhishek, what message would you love to give to the students appearing for boards?
मैं एक लास्ट मैसेज जो देना चाह रहा हूँ, मैं एपीजे साहब का ये मैसेज देना चाह रहा हूँ कि वो कभी फाइटर जेट उड़ाना चाहते थे, वो पायलट बनना चाहते थे. उन उनको रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया और जब वो राष्ट्रपति बने तो उन्होंने वही फाइटर जेट उड़ाया. मेरा मैसेज यही है, चिंता मत करो, कुछ नहीं होगा, सब बढ़िया होगा. और अपने आप पे भरोसा रखो. हम सब आप लोगों के साथ में हैं. ये जो भी होगा, जैसे भी होगा, हम सब साथ में इसको फेस करेंगे. और एग्जाम से डरने की जरूरत नहीं, ये तो जस्ट एक टेस्ट है, कुछ नहीं होगा.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashish Mittal. To all the students you are handling, the parents, and to everyone today watching this, what message would you love to give?
So my message to all the students appearing for the board examinations, that my dear children, you are more than your result. Board exams test preparation, not potential. So give your best effort, maintain balance, and remember, this is a milestone, not a life verdict. So thank you so much and best wishes to all of you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for enlightening us, for actually giving insights on such questions that today need to be addressed. I hope the parents understand this and motivate their children without giving them stress. I hope the children, the students also understand how important these exams are, but these exams are to be taken in a very light way, not that serious way where you undergo stress or you do not have to face terms like depression. Life will go on and on, as all of our respected panelists spoke today. All right. And it is you who would decide how you want to live your life in the future. So all the best to all the students, all the best to the parents. And thank you so much, dear thought leaders, for actually enlightening all of us, all the viewers today. Thank you so much for joining the Global.
Thank you.